Hey guys! So I got a new shade of Bobbi Brown eyeshadow yesterday, so I thought, you know what? Instead of like hanging on to that until I have a few things to do a haul with, instead what I decided to do was do my Bobbi Brown eyeshadow collection because I don't really have that many, so I could talk about each shade and swatch them for you and that sort of thing. So Bobbi Brown makes cream eyeshadows and powder eyeshadows, and the powder eyeshadows come in lots of different finishes. All of my powder eyeshadows are matte because all the ones that have like shimmer or glitter in them, I don't know, the shimmery ones seem to have a lot of fallout, and you can kind of tell by looking at the testers, and the glittery ones are a little too chunky for my taste, but the matte shadows are wonderful and I love them. So I would eventually like to have all the matte ones, but you know, that's that's probably never going to happen because Bobbi Brown eyeshadows aren't cheap. They are $23, I think. Oh, geez. I looked this up earlier so that I would remember for the video. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was $23 that I paid. I wish they were a little more readily available because there is nowhere near where I live where I can get Bobbi Brown. I have to travel, you know, somewhat of a distance to get to a place that sells Bobbi Brown. So chances are it's not going to be like at your local mall, but you know, I don't like to order things online. When I go to buy something, I love to swatch the testers and really look at the colors, and I don't like to order things online. I mean, sometimes you have to, sometimes you have no choice, but I would rather drive a little bit further and be able to see it in person before I purchase it. So I have one cream eyeshadow and I have 5 powder eyeshadows. So we might as well start with the cream eyeshadow. Now the cream eyeshadow I wanted to get in the most practical color possible, and that is Bone. And this is what I have on my lids today. I didn't use any powder eyeshadow on my lids. What I did was I use my concealer as an eyeshadow base because I don't have any issues with creasing or oiliness or anything like that. I actually have kind of dry skin, so I just use my concealer as an eyeshadow base, and then I put some of this on top. So that's all I have on my lids today. And the consistency of these is very, very nice. I really like these. I would love to get these in more colors, but these I believe are $25. I think the price went up not too long ago. They used to be, I think, $24, and now I think they're $25. But I really like the consistency of these. They're not quite as creamy as a MAC paint pot, but probably a bit longer lasting. And they just go on really nice, and I like them a lot. The only thing that I don't like about these is the opening of the glass jar is kind of small, so if you like to apply cream products with your finger, it's not as easy to get your finger in there. It's probably easier to use a brush, but I like to apply cream eyeshadows with my finger because I feel like they blend better. So when I bought that, I got it in the most practical color possible because I figured, you know, Bone would be something that I could get a lot of use of rather than buying a color. And by the way, all the eyeshadows I'm going to show you today are all neutral colors because if I'm going to spend this much for an eyeshadow, I would rather get a neutral color and get more use out of it because I'm just not really into colors anymore for eyeshadows. I mean, I do use them once in a while, but for the most part, I reach for neutrals. Okay, so what do I have for neutral colors? I have Bone again because I was at a CCO one day and I was looking at the Bobbi Brown stuff and I couldn't believe when I saw this because, and you might notice that the bone color in powder form is quite different than the cream one. The cream one is much more of a neutrally shade, and this has more of a yellow tone, and it's a lot brighter. But yeah, I couldn't believe when I found this at a CCO, because who would think that a color like this would be at a CCO? Because if you've ever been to a CCO, then you know that a lot of the things that you see there are maybe not the most popular colors, and I'm sure that this has got to be one of her best-selling matte powder eyeshadows, because, you know, it's just so neutral and so versatile. So yeah, this is much lighter and brighter than its cream form counterpart. There's the difference right there. So, I said I was going to do swatches. My skin is so light that you can't even see that. Okay, so I think we've established that, you know, that's a very light skin-toned color for somebody like me who's fair. And you know, I'm actually very pink toned, and this color is very yellow toned, but yet I can get away with it for some reason. It does seem to blend really well into my skin. I love the way her eyeshadows blend. If this brand was closer to me in terms of availability, I probably would own more, but maybe it's a good thing that I don't have a Bobbi Brown counter near me, because, you know, they are a little more expensive than what I would normally spend for eyeshadows. And by the way, they do sell Bobbi Brown also at Sephora, but the shade range isn't as plentiful. If you go to a Bobbi Brown counter, you've got way more items to pick from. Sephora has a very limited availability. And again, my Sephora that's close to me doesn't even have Bobbi Brown, so that's that. Okay, so I'm not going to bother to swatch the cream bone color either, because as you can see, it's just not even going to show up on me. Alright, so what's next? Actually, the next one I'm going to show you is the one that I just got yesterday, and it is the color Taupe, which is number 4. And this is what I have on in my crease, and I sort of concentrated it in the outer corner. And, I mean, who doesn't love taupe? But as taupes go, this is quite warm. This is a very warm taupe. It definitely is a brown taupe rather than a gray taupe or even a neutral taupe. Oh, these have such a nice texture to them. So that's what it looks like swatched on my finger. And then there's what it looks like swatched on my arm. And yeah, this is a really brown taupe. Alright, so the next one I'm going to show you is called Blonde, and this is number 21. And this is actually quite similar to taupe, but it's a little cooler. There's what it looks like on my finger, and this kind of reminds me of like MAC Omega is quite similar to that. And I looked at my MAC eyeshadows, by the way, to see what was similar to that taupe that I just got, and the closest thing that I had to it was Soba, but Soba is not a matte. It has a little tiny bit of shimmer in it, but you know, when you apply it, you don't really see it that much. It sort of blends out. But yeah, Soba is the closest thing I have to that last shade I showed you. So see, this is a little cooler, which is why they call it blonde, I guess. That's supposed to be maybe the best taupe color for blondes, but I like to have cool tones and warm tones of colors. As a matter of fact, I'm really seem to be getting into the more warmer tone eyeshadows lately. Leaning towards a lot of peaches and things like that, and like the bone ivory, yellowy, creamy colors. I go through phases with things. Okay, and then I have a couple of grays because I also, when it comes to neutrals, I love gray eyeshadows. And it's funny because, you know, sometimes I put gray on my eyes and I think to myself, these are the best colors for me. But then other times I put them on and I think it just makes me look washed out and dull. And so I don't know. My opinion about gray eyeshadows changes from one day to the next. But I have a couple of grays. I have gray number 6, which looks like that. And for a while there, I was using this to fill in my brows because, I don't know, again, you know, I go through phases with things. Gray is a good shade for me to fill in my brows with, but lately I've been doing more of a, well, let me just show you. I've got it right here. I've gone back to using my e.l.f. eyebrow kit, and I'm using this color right here, which is kind of similar to that blonde shade that I just showed you, and this is a cream, and I've been using that the last few days. But anyways, boy, I'm all over the place today. So, gray number 6. That's what it looks like on my finger. And there's what it looks like swatched. So it looks a little warmer on than it does in the pan. In the pan it looks like a really neutral gray, but on my skin it warms up. And last but not least, I have Slate number 16. And that's what this looks like. This is it on my finger. And that's what that looks like. So a couple of grays, a couple of taupes, and bone is what I have so far. I would like to get probably a white to go with the grays, maybe a black to go with the grays. I would like to get maybe a light brown, more of like a nude color. But I just want to show you how close some of these are. I mean, when you really love eyeshadows though, you can see the subtle differences. But I want to show you gray and slate side by side. So see, one is slightly warmer, one is slightly cooler. And then blonde and taupe side by side. See, so close, but some subtle differences. You can tell that I definitely seem to like certain colors, because why would I own two that are so similar rather than move on to other color shades? And then, did I show you the two bone colors side by side? I don't think I did. So this one lighter and brighter. So yeah, it's funny how I did that, you know, getting colors that were so similar. But yeah, I like to have similar colors but variations in tone within the shades. But I really like Bobbi Brown eyeshadows, and if you've never tried one, I would suggest, you know, find yourself a Bobbi Brown counter, or if that's not available to you, a Sephora that carries Bobbi Brown, and do some swatching, because she is like the queen of neutrals. If you like neutral eyeshadows, Bobbi Brown is known for that. She's very, very neutral oriented in her line, and she never strays far from that. And I never really appreciated that until maybe the last year or two, because I used to love all kinds of color when it came to eyeshadows, but now I'm just definitely more into neutrals now than I've ever been, and don't really enjoy my eyeshadows that have a lot of color anymore. When I want color now, I exhibit that on my nails. That's where color is on me now. And this is Nicole by OPI. It's discontinued color. What is it called? It's called Party in the Penthouse. Yeah, this is a discontinued color, but been really into these blue-green, metallic-y type colors lately. So that's it, you guys. Those are my Bobbi Brown eyeshadows, and I'll see you next time. Bye.